Hey YouTube, Skipper T here. It's a beautiful fall afternoon towards the end of October, and thought today I'd go over the medical kit that I keep handy. More of a base camp operation, obviously not a backpacking medical kit, although it does have straps on it. This is the Elite Military Survival Kit or Med Kit that you can buy off of Amazon. That's where I've gotten this one. In fact, I wrote a review on it out there. But what we'll do is we'll bring the camera in a little closer, and I'll show you all the stuff that we've got packed inside of this thing. And just for you to consider to keep, you know, if you're preparing for whatever happens in the near future or the far future, whatever the case may be, having a good sized medical kit is probably going to be a necessity. So anyway, stay with me, we'll get close and we'll kind of go through it. First things first, if you're going to have a med kit, you're going to need to know how to utilize some of the equipment that's in here. I picked up this Special Operations Forces Medical Handbook. It's got all kinds of stuff in it. Small print, so get yourself some cheaters out there. But it covers some of the basic necessities and things that you might have to do in the field out there. It's even got a section on dental procedures, and it's got a fairly extensive veterinarian section in the back. It wasn't all that long ago where animals were incorporated into the military, so probably a pretty decent reference. In fact, I bought one of these and gave it to the PA that's in our little group. I've got this wilderness medicine here as well. It's not a bad reference, probably not one of my favorites, but nonetheless, you know, any information on medical procedures that you can get out there and, you know, have at your fingertips is only going to be beneficial to you. I don't care, you know, even if it's one thing in that book that saves somebody's life, that's what it's all about. I do have ditch medicine. It's in an electronic format, but I've got solar panels that I can recharge all of that with and still keep that as a viable option as well. A few of the other things that I've got that I'll show you guys here. I've got actually 3 of the 6-inch Israeli bandages. These are great. Watch the YouTube videos that are on them out there. I would recommend carrying several of these around. And the only reason you're seeing 2 here is because I've got another one in my pack that I carry with me all the time. Same token, I got the 4-inch ones just to have a variety of sizes that are available. Another thing I recently picked up, and again, I've got 4 of these. I've got another one in my backpack. But these are the SWAT T stretchable wrap and tuck type tourniquets and or pressure bandages. These things are very interesting. It's a neoprene type material. It's got little diamond patterns on it, and when you've got it tight enough, those diamonds expand out and make squares. I don't know if you can see this, but that's what it looks like to begin with, and then when you've got it stretched out close, or you know, enough to be tight and act as a tourniquet, then it becomes a square or a diamond as opposed to this tall skinny thing here. Anyway, there's a lot of videos out on YouTube on these. I would go ahead and take a look at them out there. You know, for 10 to 13 bucks on Amazon, well worth their weight to carry along with you. Another thing I keep some gloves. These are just basic hypoallergenic vinyl type clear gloves. I use them in my shop for all kinds of different things, staining woods, various other things. But I'll grab a half a dozen or a dozen of these and I'll put them in a Ziploc baggie and I'll carry them with me. In fact, I keep several of them in here. In the big pack here, we've got a lot of different equipment that's in here, and this pack is unique in the fact that it has 3 different compartments on it. And it's got a cover that flips over it, so then when you get it all out and about, you end up with 3 pouches, individual pouches that have 2 zippered units in each one. And I'll tell you what, I'll bring the camera in a little closer so that you can see all of these things, so stay with me. Okay guys, here we are up close and personal. Again, folds out to 3 separate compartments. Each one has 2. I've gone ahead and labeled everything so that I know basically where everything is that are inside each of these compartments. In this one, for example, I've got a little surgical medical kit in here. Again, I keep it in a Ziploc bag because it's just in a little leather case. But in this, I've got just a basic set of surgical instruments in here. I've got some probes, got some forceps, some scissors, some flesh scissors. They're slightly curved. Another set of forceps, some tighter ones, some splitters, some things that you can hold open or open up a wound with. I've got some, these are blades that will actually fit on the end of this. They're scalpel blades. Several different types of forceps that are out there. Love the neighborhood kids. Here's also some other hooks and sewing needles that are down inside this particular kit. Picked this up on Amazon as well. You know, guys, you just don't know. You may end up having to perform some surgeries, albeit minor, hopefully. But one never knows, so one must be prepared for whatever comes along. Up inside here, I've got some round gauze pads. They roll out. And again, everything's, you know, labeled. These are 4" by 4" gauze rolls in here. Again, we've got some other ones that are very similar to it, 4" by 4", 2 each in each of these packs. You're never going to be able to have enough of this kind of stuff with you. Anything that's going to stop the bleeding, you know, that you can put a pressure bandage on, that you can get covered right away. Everything is, again, you know, it's labeled. Here's another pack of those. A lot of this stuff came with this particular pack, so it's really a good pack. You know, here's the ABD pad, abdominal pad, tampon abdominal. Again, you know, these are 5x9 pads that you can, you know, extend out, put over if you've got a burn situation, if you've got a large road rash situation. A lot of this stuff's going to come in handy. I've got just a ton of just extra Ziploc bags, and these are the heavier freezer ones. These aren't the lightweight sandwich bags. So that's all just good stuff to have inside here. I won't pack that for the video. Inside this one, I've got medications, wipes, just a variety of information in here. These are some ammonium packs so that you can put them under somebody's nose and bring them back if they're unconscious. You know, these are some burn gel packs that I've got in here. Again, everything's labeled, everything's repacked. I've got some different types of pain relief, some aspirins. Here's some more burn pads and sting relief. Put these in a little bottle here because in case I ever need to put anything inside of a bottle and kind of keep it separate, keep it from being crushed, I've got those available. MedFirst Purified Water. Okay, that's good if you need that. If you've got contacts, etc., something you can wash the eyes out with. Again, multiple Providone, iodine prep pads. You know, you're going to have to disinfect whatever's out there and that you're dealing with. This is a thing of boilies here. Probably the main reason for this is because it's got a pain relief ointment in it. So if you need to deaden an area that you're going to stitch up or do something like that with, you can utilize this particular information or that piece of equipment for. I've got multiple syringes in here. I've got needles that go with them. This is some Dermaskin, Dermabond that you can put with the, you know, to pinch it, cut back together. You can use this as opposed to a bandage with it. Again, I've got several syringes that are in here. I keep those with several different needles. And one of the reasons I'm keeping that information in here, or this particular product in here, is because I do keep a bottle of Lidocaine in here. Lidocaine's going to come in real handy if you've got to deaden an area or do a lot of stitching up on somebody. So that's going to come in handy, and then this is a way to introduce it and deaden the area. Neoprene, I keep a lot of this on hand. I keep just one tube in the pack here. I've got quite a bit of it. It's a triple antibiotic ointment. We should all be familiar with that. First aid burn spray. Some hand sanitizer. Can also be used to start fires with. Got some more pain med in the leaves. I've got some prescription sample packs here. Different types of things for whatever ails you out there. We won't get into the specifics. Calamine lotion, especially if you're in an area where they've got poison oak, poison ivy, various things like that. It's going to come in mighty handy. Antiseptic wipes and alcohol wipes, tons of these in individual packages. Again, a lot of this came with the pack itself. Sting pans and cleansing towelettes. Again, anything you can utilize to disinfect an area. Another pill bottle with some more of those types of pads, anti-sting, anti-burn. But again, in another pill vial so that I've got something I can put this, or, you know, whatever I need to create or if I'm using pine sap and creating an ointment or something, I can put it in here and keep it under control. Again, some more antibiotic type medications that comes as sample packs from the doctor. So I just keep those handy. We'll keep this off to the side. Up in here, the venerable blood pressure and stethoscope kit, complete with the dial. Keep everything wrapped up, keep it under control. You know, this is going to come in mighty handy, especially if you're setting up like a mobile MASH unit or, you know, a trauma center or something. So if you've got a group of people, I suggest that you get a PA or a doctor involved in your group. Otherwise, I would suggest that you become proficient, at least in being able to take somebody's blood pressure and listen to their heart rates and such. I keep a spare one. This was the one that actually came with it. One thing I forgot to mention in the other package here, this is a universal 36-inch splint. It's padded, it can be folded, it can be bent, it can be used for arms, legs, ankles, elbows, whatever you need. Having the splint to secure a fracture is going to become critical. Along those same lines, self-adhesive tape. Now this is the tape that wraps around and sticks to itself, but it's not sticky to your fingers. And in here, I just have an assortment of those. Here's some in a purple color. You know, I've got various things of tape, cloth tape, surgical tape, sports tape in here. Ace wrap bandages, big ones, small ones. I got 2 packages of those in here. This is also another tourniquet. This came with the kit when I purchased it. A lot of these Ace wraps came with it when I got it, but I have since added more information or more product in this particular pouch. My thought being is you can't have enough of this kind of stuff readily at hand. You know, somebody's traipsing through the woods, they're running, whatever the case may be, they stumble and hurt themselves. It's going to be up to you to immobilize, you know, a fractured or sprained leg or arm or whatever the case may be. Down in this particular kit, got a first aid guide in a Ziploc baggie, quick reference material, got a nice pair of shears in here. So if you've got to cut clothing away and get to a fracture or a compound fracture or burns or whatever the case may be, 4x4 dressings. This is a disposable pack of Scalpels. These are number 10 Scalpels. It is flattened out since I put it in here, but that doesn't bother me any. They're still available. Lots of different sutures and steri strips. You know, this is for putting, you know, skin back together. These are like butterfly bandages that'll do the same thing out there. I have lots of them interspersed throughout this. Of course, if we'd set up a base camp, I'd have that, you know, out and organized. All kinds and assortments of bandages that are in here, just like you have in your normal kit at home. Again, even more of those with some butterflies in there. That way you don't have to stitch everything up that's an open wound. These are actually Q-tips, which is always good. Got a couple of different airways in here. If somebody's got a choking or a crushed larynx, you can insert those with some gel. There's some gel in the pack here. That way you can get somebody's airway opened up. This is 2 great big slings. They could be used as tourniquets, but they're cut and made so that you can make a sling and put somebody's arm in it. Those came with the pack. This is obviously a CPR valve for doing mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. And I've got several of these instant ice compresses in here. Basically, you just mash all this stuff together and it comes back out and creates a cold pack so that you can get swelling down and various other things. Instructions on how to utilize this are on the back. This came with the pack. Well worth having. There's just tons, 2 or 3 or 4 of those down in the bottom of this particular portion of the kit here. I'm just going to get some of this loose stuff out of the way right quick. I'll tighten all this up here in a bit so that I can keep track of where it is. Over here, this is your PPEs, your personal protection equipment. In here I've got several face masks that just go up over your ears. They're basically like HEPA filters. They're very good. They'll keep the pathogens away from you, etc. I do keep 6 pairs of gloves in here. Each one of these, I've got 7 pair tucked in here, 10 pair. You know, if you're out in the world, and the world as we know it doesn't exist, You're going to have to throw something like this on before you treat somebody. A, to keep any bloodborne pathogens from being absorbed into your skin, but B, then also because it's going to probably be a lot cleaner than your hands given an emergency situation. You know, if you've got hot water and you can cleanse your hands, so be it, obviously do so. But in worst case scenario, I could slip on a pair of gloves and at least they're going to be cleaner than my hands. I just have tons of those in there. In fact, there's several more packages. Another thing that's very important is eyewear. And in this particular case, I've got a nice set of you know, safety glasses with the side shields on them. The thing I like about these is they've got little cheaters built into them right here. So if you need to get down and do some real finite work close in, you're stitching somebody up and, well, your eyes are older like mine, having a little bit of a magnifier in there is going to help out tremendously. Again, guys, you got to take care of yourselves first, because if you're not taking care of yourself, excuse me, then, you know, really you're just going to be introducing, you know, harm to yourself and infection to the people that you're trying to treat and to help. And in the long run, that's just not going to work out very good, okay? In fact, maybe I'll just put this book and stuff right up back into this particular pack, portion of the pack. Down in here, I've just got, well, got a couple of battery-operated cauterizing pins so that you can cauterize something. You know, let's just put a little electricity in it and burn that opening or that artery or that vein closed. And in here, we've just got quite a few of these 12 by 30 inch dressings. These are more like an abdominal type scenario if you got to wrap somebody up really hard and tight. I think I've got 1, 2, 3, there's 5 sets of those in there. Again, these can be cut down and used in smaller packages, etc. So that's pretty much everything we've got in this particular kit. Again, I can't stress enough, you know, and as you guys well know, being prepared for whatever comes our way is going to be critical. I've got a little extra room in here. I could probably put a couple of these 4-inch dressings down in here. Maybe, yeah, looks like a 6-inch one. That's going to be a little tight, but it'll fit. Turn them sideways. Let it sit down in there. That way you can stop bleeding. You can put a pressure bandage on somebody just like right now and get things taken care of. So anyway, guys, this is a pretty extensive medical kit. I would suggest that you have something similar to this and at your disposal. Talk to your local Red Cross, take some EMT or first responder type classes. Basic first aid certainly wouldn't hurt. CPR, everybody should be certified, because when it comes right down to it, guys, we're going to be our only first line of defense. Anyway, stay with me and we'll wrap this up. All right, guys, that's the med kit in a nutshell. I would suggest everybody get something like this put together. The personal ones that we carry in our bug out bags and in our back of our cars and such are great. But again, you know, if it's going to be a long-term scenario, you've got to have something like this set up and ready to be used. And again, I can't stress enough having some kind of literature, some kind of a manual that's going to help you along the way. In fact, one of my favorite things in here was showing you how to do an appendectomy. Not that I ever want to have to do one, but again, this book's got a lot of information on it. And if you end up being the medic for your group, or you've got, you know, trained people, then having this information readily available and having it in the hands of somebody that knows what to do with it, and, you know, we're not all going to remember everything. So, again, you know, having that reference library is worth its weight in gold. Anyway, guys, Skipper T, food for thought. Remember, keep your eyes open, keep your heads up, and we'll see you outside.